pretend I'm not posting this video late. Anyway, apparently for the new year, it is a thing again to retake the Hogwarts house test and see what your house is for the new year. Last year in 2019 I did it. I got Ravenclaw like always, and apparently this year the Super Carlin brothers decided to continue the tradition and make it an annual thing. The annual Super Carlin brother sorting ceremony challenge thing. Anyway, I'm joining the challenge like 2 weeks late. I meant to post this before the semester started, then I didn't, and then school happened. But anyway, new year, new house. I am going to retake the Hogwarts house test, but I'm gonna do it my own way. So this is actually going to be a set of 2 videos. This first one, I'm going to go through all of the questions and reevaluate my answers and just establish what my answers are for this year. I have honestly done this exact same video of taking the Hogwarts house test on Pottermore, on the new Wizarding World app, or the full test so many times. The most recent one was only like 3 months ago when the new app came out, and so it's kind of soon to just do it normally again. So what I'm going to do is for this first video, I'm going to go through all of the questions and answer them how I feel like right now I would like to answer them. For all of the videos I've done so far taking the house test, I've basically recycled the same answers. I like decided on them last time I took the full test and then have pretty much, at least to my knowledge, answered the same way since then. But now I kind of just want to reevaluate and make sure that I'm really doing new year, new house accurately as to like me right now and not my answers a year and a half ago. But then also I wanted to say I'm not doing the full test like on some website. This is actually a spreadsheet I have that my sister helped me make that I have explained more deeply in a couple of videos. So if you want to learn more about it, click the videos in the card. But basically what it does is it calculates the probability that you would get each of the houses given those answers if you take the Pottermore test. So then I'm going to use that for my next video where I am going to see how many times it takes to take the Pottermore test and not get Ravenclaw. The point of this video is mainly for me to explain my reasoning behind all the answers and for why I'm answering certain ways, and that's why I'm splitting it up from the next one because I don't know how long that one's going to take, and that one I don't want to have to explain my reasoning for every single question that I answer. But anyway, let's get started. First thing I need to do, highlight all my answers. If you see I had an 86% chance to get Ravenclaw before, we will see if that changes, and delete the answers. So first, how would you like to be known to history? Most of the very simple questions I answered the obvious Ravenclaw one, not because it's the Ravenclaw answer, but because I feel oftentimes most proud of my intelligence, and so known to history I would want to be known as the wise. So that would be C. Next one, which of the following would you most hate people to call you? Same thing again. I mean, I would hate to be called selfish or ordinary. Not so much cowardly because I don't really care that much about being super brave. But out of all of those, I would most hate to be called ignorant or be thought of as ignorant. Given the choice, would you rather invent a potion that would guarantee you love, power, wisdom, or glory? This one again, I'd want to go for wisdom. For love, I feel like it would feel wrong to have it be artificial. And then for power and glory, I feel like they're just not quite up there as high as I would want wisdom. After you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? I feel like this is one of the ones I've usually done miss you but smile, but like thinking about that, I think I want to change my answer on that. I mean, I'd want people to, you know, remember me and their time with me, but like missing you is kind of like a sad thing. I'm leaning more towards right now thinking with admiration of my achievements because I am really proud of like what I get done, and so I think that's something I'd like to be remembered by is like all the stuff that I've done in this life. So I'm going for C on that one, and that might give me a more Ravenclaw answer, but we'll see when it comes down to all of the rest of the answers. Once every century, the Flutterby bush produces flowers that adapt their scent to attract the unwary. If it lured you, it would smell of. I am gonna say home on this one. I feel like usually I don't say it because I feel like my home doesn't have a specific scent, but I kind of like the unscentedness of it, if that makes sense. And I'm just such a homebody naughty. Like, I'd way rather be, like, at home doing something than out in the sea or out in the woods with a fire. And, I mean, like, new books, fresh parchment smell, like, is good, but I prefer just, like, that smell of, you know, nothing being at home. 4 boxes are placed before you. Which would you try to open? The small tortoiseshell box embellished with gold, inside which some small creature seems to be squeaking, "No thank you, I am scared of animals." Gleaming jet black box with a silver lock and key marked with a mysterious rune that you know to be the mark of Merlin. I think that one's my favorite one. The ornate golden casket standing on clawed feet whose inscription warns that both secret knowledge and unbearable temptation lie within. Nope, I don't really want the unbearable temptation, and that one seems kind of extra. Ornate golden casket. The small pewter box, unassuming and plain, with a scratched message upon it that reads, "I open only for the worthy." Yeah, no, definitely going with Merlin's box. That one is by far always, it's been my favorite. Which kind of instrument? This one is for sure the piano. I think that on its own, this piano sounds better than pretty much every other instrument because it can hold, you know, melodies and harmonies. And I'm just also kind of biased because I've played the piano for a while. 4 goblets are placed before you. Which would you choose to drink? The smooth, thick, richly purple drink that gives off a delicious smell of chocolate and plums. See, if it was chocolate and just chocolate, then I'd choose that one, but plums, no thank you. Mysterious black liquid that gleams like ink and gives off fumes that make you see strange visions. I don't want to hallucinate either. I'm not a huge fan of that one. It's always down to these last 2, the foaming, frothing, silvery liquid or the golden liquid. I kind of just naturally have a bias towards silver instead of gold, so I like the shining, sparkling silver one. You enter an enchanted garden. What would you be most curious to examine first? The fat red toadstools that appear to be talking to each other. Again, not a huge fan of like magical creatures or, you know, animals, so I'd shy away from that. The bubbling pool in the depths of which something luminous is swirling. I've always liked this one and I think the last one. The silver leaf tree bearing golden apples. I think I've chosen that one once, which is funny because I think that one's the Ravenclaw answer, but that's not my favorite. I think the last one, the statue of an old wizard with a strangely twinkling eye, is my favorite. I just think I'd more naturally gravitate towards a statue than like a pool or like a tree. Yeah. Not much more explanation than that. Hey, a troll has gone berserk in the headmaster's study at Hogwarts. It's about to smash blah blah blah. We all know this question. There's the cure for dragonpox, the mysterious handwritten book full of strange runes, and the student records going back 1,000 years. I think this is an unpopular opinion, at least from what I've seen, but my first priority is the student records. It is Hogwarts, and student records are important, and so that's my first priority. Also, it says a nearly perfected cure for dragonpox, so when it comes to that one, that's like the least important for me because 1, it's not perfected yet, and 2, whoever's been working on it can probably replicate it because obviously it's nearly perfected, so that means someone's working on it, so they could probably figure it out. It might add more time, but that one I feel like is like the one that could be replaced out of the other 2 items, and then the records I feel like are just super important. On this one, I always do the records, then the book, then the cure. Which would you rather be? Not feared, not envied. I mean, like, I'm not a really jealous person, and I don't want people to be jealous of me. It's not a good emotion. I like to be liked and praised. Imitated is like so-so, but I feel like out of those, I'm a words of affirmation person if you've heard of like the love languages, so I feel like out of all of those, I would rather be praised because that shows that people like me and that they think I'm accomplished and smart and those things that I value. Next one, which of the following do you find most difficult to deal with? Definitely not boredom. I am one of the people who can keep myself entertained like all the time. Being ignored and loneliness like obviously are difficult, but not as difficult as I feel like hunger and cold because I like being alone a lot of the time, not all the time obviously, but I hold up fine on my own. So I usually put this down to hunger and cold. This time I think I'm gonna say cold because 1, it's winter and I am struggling with being cold like all the time right now, and 2, I feel like I'm better at dealing with hunger right now than I am with cold. Ooh, one of my favorite questions. What are you most looking forward to learning at Hogwarts? Always go to every area of magic I can. I remember when I first read that question and I'm like, how can I choose? And then the last answer is every area. Oh, that's it for sure. I'm totally stereotypical of Ravenclaw there. I want to learn everything. Even about magical creatures, I just not want to get too close to them. Next, we have, if you could have any power, which would you choose? So, you know, cross out the animals one, although that might make me less afraid of animals. But yeah, still cross out that one. Don't really want superhuman strength either. I feel like the power to change the past would be troublesome. Time travel problems. I'll avoid that one too. And I feel like reading minds is the type of thing like that it sounds good, but it would actually kind of suck. So for me, it's between changing your appearance at will and invisibility, which are actually kind of similar if you think about it. And I'd say that being able to change your appearance at will would be more useful. So I'm gonna choose that one. Be a metamorph magus like Tonks. That would be fun. Then you could also try out crazy haircuts, and then, oh, no problem if you don't like it, you can just make your hair grow back to how it was before. Okay, which of the following would you most like to study? For this one, I know I usually say more people, and I'm trying to decide if I want to keep saying more people or change it to something else. I'm gonna keep it. I think more people are really fascinating, just like in general everywhere, but also in Harry Potter because they're just also different from the stereotypical mermaid persona, and so they're really interesting. And out of that list, I think that's the one that I would want to learn the most about. One of your housemates has cheated. Oh yeah, the cheating one. I wouldn't want to lie because I believe the premise is that Professor Flitwick has pulled you to the side, so he comes up to you. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also not gonna be a tattletale. That's B, I think. You wouldn't wait to be asked to tell the truth. If you knew, then you would have told them before the exam. I wouldn't do that either. So it's between C and D, telling him the truth or telling Professor Flitwick to ask your classmate. And I feel like usually I've said the third one, but thinking about what I'd like actually do in that situation, I feel like I'd be more likely to pass it on to my classmate. Because that actually sounds a lot like me, to tell him to ask my classmate, and if the classmate doesn't tell the truth, then I will. Wait. Okay, on this one I decided to stick with telling the truth because it's between those last two, but the parentheses part in that last part doesn't really sound like me. I wouldn't go up to my friend and be like, if you don't tell the truth, then I will. Be more likely to just tell Professor Flitwick the truth when he comes to me. Okay, which road tempts you the most? This one is the ancient buildings for sure. I like history and I like cities and not as much, you know, alleys. But I like civilization. And I definitely prefer being in the, you know, ancient street rather than out in the wild, even if it is a wide sunny grassy lane or a nice pretty path walking through the woods. Muggle confronts you and says that they are sure you're a witch or wizard. Do you tell them you're worried about their mental health? No, that's so rude. Agree and ask whether they'd like a free sample of a jinx. I'd be too worried that would spiral. Statute of secrecy, guys. You can't say yes. Ask what makes them think so, or agree and walk away, leaving them to wonder whether you were bluffing. I could not pull that one off at all. So definitely C. I feel like that's the one that gives you the option to, you know, figure out what they know and turn it back around on them and convince them, you know, otherwise, or, you know, figure out the situation better. So definitely that one. Walking alone down the street, you hear a peculiar cry that you believe to have a magical source. This one I'd always want to, you know, go back, try to stay away from the problem and review anything in case I do need to get involved, but definitely try to stay away from it if possible, which is C. You and two of your friends need to cross a bridge guarded by a river troll who insists on fighting one of you. This one, obviously try to confuse the troll. Like, I don't even know why you would choose any of the other options. I mean, it might make sense to try to, you know, all three of you fight the troll. So that one could make some sense, but I think I'd rather just not fight it all, confuse the troll into letting us pass, and I'd definitely not be the one to volunteer. Which nightmare would frighten you the most? Waking up to find that neither your friends nor family have any idea who you are. You know, that would really suck. I feel like I usually kind of like play that one off, but that really would stink. Being forced to speak in a silly voice? I'd just keep quiet. I do half the time anyway. Stand on top of something very high. I am afraid of heights. Although, to be honest, in the magical world, you know, there is such thing as arrest or momentum. So this question kind of has a different meaning if you're thinking of it as you know, being magic. And an eye at the keyhole of a dark, windowless room in which you're locked. That first one I'd not peg, you know, as super frightening, so I think that's why I usually don't pick it. So I'll look at the other ones. I think it's between that one that's like the fear of heights or being locked in a windowless room. I feel like I've usually not really paid much attention to that one, so I'm gonna choose that one this time. That would be pretty scary, being locked in a room and someone, you know, someone's out there watching you, but you don't know who or what they are. Oh look, we are to all of the ones that just have 2 answers. Moon or stars? I like going with stars. I think they're more pretty and cooler. Forest or river? I don't know if it's my natural bias toward the color blue, but I'm tending toward river for like literally no reason. But also like in general, I'd rather not be stuck in a forest because you could get lost easily. So if you're thinking of it that way, I mean a river could be going through the forest, but even then, like if you're going through a forest, you'd probably want to stick to where a river is because it clears your path. Sure, river. Dawn or dusk? I don't know why in the past I've picked dawn, but who am I kidding? I love sleeping till noon. I like staying up late. Dusk is way better. I'm actually awake during dusk literally every day, and most of the time during dawn, I'm asleep. Black or white? I feel like white has like this light connotation to it that naturally makes me want to pick white. But also I'm thinking about like in terms of like decoration and clothes. Am I more likely to pick something that's black or white? I wish you could pick gray because I love gray. I have so much stuff that's gray, like clothes. I think on this one I'm honestly gonna go with black because my pants are black. And I feel like I look better in black than I do in white. So, purely off of wearing clothes. Black. Left or right? Sometimes I pick left just because it's like most likely the less picked one, but I am right-handed. That's hard. I'm just gonna go with right. I'm right-handed. Natural tendency towards things on the right. Sure. Heads or tails? This is definitely tails. If someone asks me heads or tails when it flip a coin, I am a lot more likely to pick tails for some reason. I don't know why, but I just like tails better. And to the last question, if I was attending Hogwarts, which pet would I choose to take with me? Definitely a tawny owl. I pick the tawny owl every time. It's my favorite. Would definitely have an owl. Don't want a toad, and I don't like cats. And then when I look at the pictures of them online or on the actual Wizarding World test, the tawny owl is my favorite looking one. So, are we ready to scroll down and see my results? Whoa! It went all the way down to 67%. My next highest is Slytherin. Whoa! I feel like Hufflepuff's usually my next highest, and Hufflepuff is the lowest on this. Wow, I'm kind of shocked. I didn't realize I changed that many answers. My percentage Ravenclaw went down from 86% chance of getting Ravenclaw to 67% chance of getting Ravenclaw. Although, that should make it so the next video I make is more likely to be shorter. But wow, I'm surprised that it went down by so much. New percentages for the new year. My answers are a lot less Ravenclaw than before. Obviously, still big difference. It's not even really close to having a second one. My second one is almost 6 times smaller a probability of me getting Slytherin than it is of me getting Ravenclaw. But still, I mean, if you add those up, I only have a 2/3 chance of getting Ravenclaw rather than the 86% chance that I had before. So that's crazy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below in the comments what house you're in. That could be according to the Wizarding World app, or it could be according to one of the actual full tests. And definitely check out those videos where I go more in depth on this spreadsheet, and you could even fill it out for yourself as well. I'll leave the link for that in the description, as well as it's in the description for the videos that explain it more fully. If you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like and subscribe to my channel, which you can do by clicking over there. And check out more of my videos. Up top, if I have uploaded it yet, will be my next video where I see how many times it takes to get not Ravenclaw on the Wizarding World test. And down below is my playlist of all of my sorting related videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!